kiddos of class 8. Today we are going to start your first lesson, which is the tattered blanket. Now this story, the tattered blanket, was originally written in Malayalam. Later on it was translated into English by K.M. Sharif. By who? By K.M. Sharif. This was originally written in Malayalam by Kamala Das. So before we start with the story, let me give you an insight into the life and works of Kamala Das. Now, Kamala Das was an Indian English poet, short story writer and a novelist. She was born on 31st of March 1934 in Kerala. She comes from a family of writers. Her mother, Nalapat Balamani Amma, was a great Malayali poet. She got a title of Poetess of Motherhood. What is the title given to Kamala Das's mother? Poetess of Motherhood. Balamani Amma also received a lot of awards and honors such as Padma Bhushan, Saraswati Samman, Sahitya Academy, etc. Kamala Das's father was V.M. Nair and he was an editor to a newspaper. While Kamala Das's maternal uncle Nalapat Narayana Menon was also a prolific writer. Now, because she comes from a family of writers, she got naturally attracted towards writing. She wanted to pursue her career in writing right from the childhood. She had this dream of, writing. She probably started writing at the age of 6. A part of her childhood was spent in Kerala and the other part was spent in Kolkata because her father had to move to Kolkata. She got married quite early. She had a child marriage. She got married to an employee of Reserve Bank of India whose name was Madhava Das. She got married when she was 15 and she became mother to 3 children quite early. Now this impacted her a lot. It had a lot of negative impact in her life because being a woman and being a writer in those days was not that easy. She was criticized and she was suppressed in various ways by the society because it's Indian society. Now because of the fact that she became a wife and mother, people expect her to fulfill the responsibilities of being a wife and mother first and then think of anything else. So despite all the criticism and the negativity, she did not, discourage. She did not put herself down. She did not let that negativity impact or define her. She continued to write and her husband also encouraged her in writing. Not only in her mother tongue Malayalam but also in English language. I'm going to list out some of the works written by Kamala Das, so you listen carefully and note them down. They are A Summer in Calcutta, The Sirens, An Old Playhouse and Other Poems, My Story, Alphabet of Lust, etc. These are some of her works. My Story is her autobiography in which she has written candidly about her life, about her sufferings, the way she was dominated by male members in the society and also her family. It was written in Malayalam and the title of My Story in Malayalam was Ente Katha. What was the title? Ente Katha, which literally translates to My Story. She also received a lot of awards and honors such as Asian World Prize, Asian Poetry Prize, Sahitya Academy Award, and she was also nominated for Nobel Prize in Literature. She died on 31st of May 2009 when she was around 84 years. She got admitted in a hospital due to a respiratory problem, and she died at a hospital in Pune. When? On 31st of May 2009. So this was an insight into the life and works of our writer Kamala Das. Another point I forgot to tell you is that now, because she is a Malayali, among her Malayali readers, she is popular by the name Madhavi Kutti. She chose this name, pen name Madhavi Kutti. What is the name? Madhavi Kutti. A pen name is a name that a writer chooses to write. A name other than his or her original name is called a pen name. So to her Malayali readers, she is popular by the name Madhavi Kutti, and to her non-Malayali readers, she is known as Kamala Das. We also learn that she later on converted into Muslim. She changed her surname from Das to Suraya. She was later known as Kamala Suraya. The reason why she converted into Islam is not known, but she changed her surname from Kamala Das to Kamala Suraya. So this was all about Kamala Das. I hope you understood about her. And one more thing is that she is considered as a feminist writer. Feminist writer in the sense, she writes, most of her works deal with the female sufferings, or the way women suffer in the society, the way they are dominated by the family members and the society, the way they are suppressed, the way they are forced to be confined to household, the way they are not allowed to pursue their dreams, pursue their passion. Despite of the fact that she faced a lot of criticism in her personal life, she stood up as a voice to all those women who were suppressed, who were put down, who were not allowed to do anything of their choice. She encouraged such women in the society. That's the reason why she was given the title of the mother of modern Indian English poetry. What is the title? The mother of modern Indian English poetry, because despite the fact she was born in the 19th century, her thoughts were quite modern. She wanted women to be liberal and do or pursue the career of their choice rather than being dominated or put down. Alright, now let us get started with our actual story, which is the tattered blanket. The tattered blanket. Tattered here refers to something which is torn or worn out. A cloth is said to be tattered if there are lot of perforations or holes in it. It is torn in a very bad manner, then it is said to be tattered. It is an adjective here. So the tattered blanket, a blanket which is torn and completely ruined. As I told you, she is a feminist writer. Most of her writings deal with the female sufferings in the society. This story is also about a mother who suffers a lot, who suffers for about more than 5 years. She craves for her son's love. She stays in Thiruvananthapuram, which is the capital of Kerala. It is also called as Trivandrum. She stays in Thiruvananthapuram along with her widowed daughter Kamala. Widowed means a woman who has lost her husband. So she stays in Thiruvananthapuram along with her daughter, while her son Gopi stays in Delhi. He gets married there and he has 4 children, but he never visits his mother or even writes letters. He never wrote any letter, nor did he visit his mother in a long period. So this is the suffering. This is the story about a suffering of a mother who craves for her son's love. Despite the fact she does not remember the appearance of her son, she does not remember how he looks, because she's around 83, and it is obvious in old age that people tend to forget things. Forgetfulness comes with the aging. So due to that, she could not remember her son's appearance, but his memories are still evergreen in her mind. He is evergreen in her memories. So let's see what happens when one day the son visits his mother. How is her reaction and what happens in the story? Let's see that. Let me read and explain you. When he arrived unexpectedly at his home in the countryside in his office car and got down at the gate, his mother, who was lying in an armchair on the veranda, made a futile attempt to get up. Now, this is a description of where the old lady, the mother in the story, was sitting and how her son visits her. So the setting, the place is the countryside. Countryside means the rural side. The rural part of Trivandrum or Thiruvananthapuram in Kerala. So the mother here is sitting on the veranda. A veranda is the open space just out of the house. It is just below the roof. It does not extend or go beyond the roof. So the old lady, here the old lady is referred as Amma. Amma in the story. Her daughter is a widow. Her name is Kamala. And this Amma has a son who stays in Delhi. I told you, a selfish son who never visited his mother in long time. His name is Gopi. So these are the characters. And Gopi has a wife, Vimala. He also has 4 children, but the names of those children are not mentioned. They are not relevant in the story either. So these are the characters you need to keep it in mind. So the story starts with the description of where Amma was sitting. Amma was sitting just outside of her house on the veranda. She was lying in an armchair. Armchair is a chair where you sit in a relaxed posture. You have handles to, put your arms on. You can relax there. So she was sitting on that armchair. What happens? She sees a man at the gate. A car stops by at the gate and a man gets down the car. This old lady sees a man getting down of the car and she makes a futile attempt. Futile attempt means a useless attempt or an unsuccessful attempt, because she is an 83-year-old woman. She cannot get up quickly. So her attempt to get up and see was futile, was unsuccessful. Kamala, there is somebody at the gate, she said. Somebody is in a car. So what did this old lady say? She's talking to her daughter now. Kamala is sitting right next to her. So this old lady, Amma, is asking to Kamala that there is somebody at the gate. There is someone in the car. Kamala, her eldest daughter, a widow, who was sitting huddled up on the thinna on the veranda, her head and ears covered with a thin bath towel, got up reluctantly, walked slowly to the gate, and screwing up her eyes peered into the darkness. Now what did Kamala do? This is the description of how Kamala looks. Okay, she is a widow. She's wearing all white and she has a towel around her head. Her ears and head are covered in a white towel. And where is she sitting? On the thinna. Thinna is an elevated place. An elevated place, or it's like a platform on the veranda itself. So she was sitting right next to Amma. What was her posture? How was she sitting? Huddled up. She wrapped herself closely, means she did not sit in a very relaxed or careless manner. She wrapped herself closely and she huddled up. Her head and ears were covered with a bath towel. She got up reluctantly. Reluctantly means with lack of interest or with no interest. Reluctantly, unwillingly, or with lack of interest. So when Amma told her that there is somebody at the gate, she did not want it to actually get up. So unwillingly, with lack of interest, she somehow got up from there and she walked slowly. What did she do? To the gate, and screwing up her eyes, peered into the darkness. She started walking towards the gate and she screwed up her eyes. So why do you think she did this? To have a clear vision of the man who was at the gate. Now, the season here was a winter season. It was a winter morning, so things are not clear because everything was covered in mist, in the fog. In order to have a clear vision, she was rubbing her eyes and squinting. Peering is nothing but the way you squint in order to have a clear vision. The way you close your eyes, the way you partially close your eyes in order to see something in a clear way. This is squinting. So that's how she tried to have a look at the man near the gate. Let's see what happens. See, this is the picture. This is Amma here. This is her daughter, widowed daughter Kamala, and this fellow, this selfish man is her son, Gopi. Now here, this is the description of how Gopi looks. She saw a bald, fat, middle-aged man walking in through the gate. Now how did Gopi look? He was bald. Bald refers to a head with no hair. His head was not covered with hair, so he was bald and he was fat and middle-aged man. He was walking in through the gate. "Oh, Gopi," she said in a grating voice. "Why this sudden unexpected visit?" What did Kamala say? "Oh, Gopi, it's you. Why did you pay unexpected visit like we had no idea about your visit? You didn't inform us." "Kamala, who is it?" her mother asked loudly from the veranda. So this old lady, Amma, asked loudly that, "Who is it, Kamala?" "Gopi," the man said. "There was a meeting in Thiruvananthapuram. I just dropped in on my way back." Now what is Gopi replying? "I am Gopi. I had a meeting." See, he came from Delhi to Thiruvananthapuram. He's telling that he had a meeting in Thiruvananthapuram. He attended the meeting and he was going back. So he thought to pay a visit on his way back. "Who, Kamala? Who is it?" There was a note of alarm in Amma's voice. Now Amma, I told you, she has this problem of forgetting things. It is natural with aging people, okay? Old age people, they don't really remember things. Now even the Gopi said that he was Gopi. She did not really understand what he said. She again asked the same question. "Who is it, Kamala?" Now this time she asked in a little bit alarmed voice. Alarmed voice means she was slightly scared. "Amma, why are you so scared?" Kamala, Gopi's eldest sister, asked her a little awkwardly, as if you're seeing Gopi for the first time. So what does Kamala say? "Amma, why are you behaving like this? Haven't you seen Gopi earlier? You're behaving as if you're seeing him for the first time." "Amma, it's me, Gopi," he said again. So what did Gopi say? He repeated again what he said earlier. He said, "Amma, it's me, I'm Gopi." He bent down and brought his face close to her wrinkled cheeks. "Amma, it's me." "Gopi, Kamala, I can't believe it. Has the school closed for vacation?" So what does Gopi do? After he repeats that he's Gopi, he told her once again that, "Amma, it's Gopi." After that, he approaches his mother and he bends over her wrinkled cheeks. He presents his face before her wrinkled cheeks. And then what does Amma say? She says, Kamala, I can't believe it. Is it vacation time for Gopi now? Has the school on vacation? Is the school on vacation now? Amma is often like this these days. She doesn't recognize anybody. Gopi's sister explained. So why do you think she's asking such questions? Because Amma does not remember the tiny details about Gopi, because he abandoned her for such a long period that despite the fact, of course, she loves her son, she thinks about him, but she doesn't know the details associated with her son because it's been too long and he never wrote a letter to. Amma is often like this these days. So what is Kamala saying? She's talking to Gopi. She's saying that, see, this is how Amma is behaving these days. She cannot remember even the tiny details. She doesn't recognize anybody. Gopi's sister explained, but sometimes her memory is quite sharp. Then she asks me if you have sent any letter. I tell her everything is fine with you. Vimala and the kids. What is the point of telling her that you haven't written for a year? Poor thing. I wouldn't dream of making her unhappy. So what is Kamala saying to her brother? She's saying that, see, this is how Amma is behaving these days. She just doesn't remember things. She just doesn't recognize anybody. But sometimes her memory is quite sharp. She asks me every single day that if you have written a letter or not. She asks, has there been a letter from Gopi? She asks this question every day. But I cannot tell her the truth. You are so selfish, you haven't written in a year. I cannot tell her that you don't write any letters. So I lie to her, telling that you write every day and everything is fine with you and your family members. Why do you think Kamala is lying to her Amma? Because of the fact that she does not want her to feel unhappy. If she tells about her selfish son, she feels very bad. Yes or no? So she does not want the old lady to be upset. I got a promotion last year. After that, I'm always on my toes. And there are tours quite often. I don't get any time to write letters. Now, what excuse does Gopi give for not writing letters? He says that he got a promotion. Promotion is a slightly higher position which you get in your job. So he got a slightly higher position in his job. That's the reason why his responsibilities also increased and he started to be quite busy. He has a lot of tours to attend, a lot of meetings and a lot of places to visit. That's the reason why he has no time to write any letter. Why don't you ask Vimala to write, or doesn't she get any time to? Now what is Kamala asking? Why don't you ask your wife to write a letter? Who is Vimala here? Gopi's wife. Why don't you ask her to write a letter? Or is it that even she has no time? What are you mumbling over there? Amma said loudly. Now Amma shouted loudly. Shouted at who? Shouted at Kamala, saying that, what are you mumbling? Who are you talking to? I heard somebody coming in a car. Who is it? Now Amma is again repeating the same thing. She's repeating, see, I saw somebody at the car. I saw somebody coming in a car. Who is that person? Who is it? I told you it's Gopi. But Gopi is in Delhi, isn't he? Now Kamala again replies saying, see Amma, I already told you. It's Gopi. What does Amma ask again? She asks, Gopi is in Delhi, isn't he? Yes Amma, it's me. I've come from Delhi. Now Gopi is replying this, yes Amma, I have come from Delhi. It's me. Who did Gopi marry? Amma said, suddenly lowering her voice. What's his wife's name? Now what is Amma asking? Amma doesn't even remember about his wife. Forget about his wife. She does not even remember or recognize the face of her son. So what is she asking? She's asking, whom did Gopi marry? What is the name of his wife? Don't say you have forgotten her name too. Don't you remember? Vimala, District Collector Nambiar's eldest daughter, Gopi's sister said. So what did Gopi's sister reply? She said, now don't tell me you forgot even this tiny detail. Don't you remember? Gopi got married to district collector's daughter, district collector Nambiar's daughter. Her name is Vimla. Oh, I forgot the name. Was there a letter from Gopi today? Now Gopi is standing right in front of her, but still she is unable to recognize his face. Why is that? Because of her age, she has forgotten the details about her son, and also there has been a lot of gap. Her son did not visit in a longer period of time. She had been suffering, she had been craving to see her son, to have a glimpse of her son, but poor lady, she couldn't get even that. So what does she ask? She asks, has there been a letter from Gopi today? There was, he writes every day. Kamala lies again. Yes, there was a letter today too. He writes every day. This is a lie. Why is she lying? Because she cannot tell the truth. The son is really selfish. He never writes. I'm terribly upset if I don't get a letter from him every day. He knows it. That's why he writes every day. So what did Amma say? I feel terribly upset if I don't receive a letter from him every day. Now what does Kamala reply? Yes, he knows that you'll feel bad. That's the reason why he writes a letter to you every day. Look at the way she talks. Gopi's sister turned to him. Just as I told you, you know nothing about what's going on here, do you? So then Kamala is slightly irritated. She turns towards her brother and says, this is how things are in these days. This is how she behaves. I don't think you really care. I don't think you have any idea about what's going on, what we have been through all these years. We have been missing you all these years. I don't think you really care about that, do you? Who is that? Amma said again. Who is that in the car? Now Amma began to ask the same question again. She's asking, who is there? Who is that in the car? It's me, Gopi said. I had to come to Thiruvananthapuram. I thought I should drop in to see you, Amma. Now Gopi repeats the same thing again. He says, I had to come to Thiruvananthapuram, so I thought I should even pay a visit to you. Who is your Amma? What is her name? Where does she live? Is it far from here? No, it's quite near. Now who is asking all these questions? Amma is asking. To who? To Gopi. Because she's not recognizing that the man standing in front of her is her own son Gopi. She's unable to remember his face. So she's asking, who is your mother? Where does she stay? Is the place really far from here? No, it's quite near. Who replied this? Gopi replied, saying that no, my mother's place is not really far, it's quite near. I don't know how can I bring back her memory, Gopi's sister said to him exasperatedly. Now, Gopi's sister told in an exasperated tone, in a very angry tone. Exasperated means angrily. She said in a very angry tone, I don't know how can I bring back her memory. This is exasperated tone. Gopi placed his briefcase on the thinner. He opened it and pulled out the contents, clothes, files, a shaving set. Now what did Gopi do? He placed his briefcase, a tiny box in which you keep things, a briefcase. So he put that briefcase on the thinner. He opened it up and took out all the contents. Contents means the things present in that suitcase. What were the things present there? Clothes, files and a shaving kit. He took out all of those and put them aside. Do you know my son Gopi? Amma asked him. He is in Delhi, a government officer. He has Kesari Yogam. He draws a salary of 2,500 rupees. Do you know him? Now what is Amma asking to the man standing in front of her? What is she asking to Gopi? She is asking, do you know my son Gopi? He stays in Delhi. He is a government officer and he has Kesari Yogam. What is Kesari Yogam? Well, it is a Malayalam term It is a term in Malayalam language which means successful or well settled. Okay. So, Kesari Yoga means someone who is successful and well settled. So, what is Amma saying to this man? She's asking him whether he knows about her son Gopi. He is a government officer. He is well settled because he earns a salary of 2,500 rupees. Yes, I know him. Then Gopi replies, yes, I know your son. Tell him to send me a blanket. There is a cold mist in the mornings. If I catch cold, it doesn't leave me for a long time. Tell him to send a blanket, won't you? A red one. I had a blanket, the one he brought for me when he was studying in Madras. It is all tattered now, just a ball of knotted yarn. Tell him to send me a red blanket, will you? So what is Amma asking now? She is asking to the man to inform her son Gopi that she needs a blanket because it is a cold mist. Mist in the sense fog, which you see in the winter mornings. Everything is covered. So it's usually very cold in the winter mornings and she is in need of a blanket. She had a blanket earlier, but that is completely tattered, torn now. That is the reason she wants a new blanket. So she's asking this man to inform the same to her son. She's asking to tell her son to send her a blanket. What kind of blanket that she wants? A red one. She wants a red blanket because the old blanket is now just a ball of yarn. It is completely tattered and damaged. She wants a blanket. Why? Because it's a winter season and it is very cool. I'll tell him, he nodded. Please don't forget to tell him. The mist is not good for me. I think I'll stretch myself out for a bit. I've been sitting too long in the armchair. I have pain in the neck. So what did Amma say? Please don't forget to inform him that I need a blanket. Please inform my son. Now I've been sitting on armchair for quite a longer period of time. I need some rest. My neck hurts now. I need to stretch myself a bit. Means I just want to lie down. Gopi's sister put Amma to bed and came back to the veranda. What did Kamala do? She took Amma inside. She asked her to lie down there. She came back to the veranda. You didn't come to see Amma, did you? Now Kamala knows the actual reason or the actual purpose of Gopi's visit. But she does not want to be obvious or direct quite soon. She wants to hear from him. That is why she asked him a question. I don't think you came here to see Amma. I don't think you came here because you are missing your mother. The reason is something else. Let's see what does this selfish son says. Delhi is too expensive. You know I have 4 children to look after now. I can't make both ends meet with my salary. So what is he saying? Delhi is too expensive. You know that I have 4 children and I can't make both ends meet. What is the meaning of this phrase? To make both ends meet. To make both ends meet means to earn enough so that you are able to pay your expenses until your next payment date. Say your payment day, your salary day is 7 every month. So you should be able to bear your expenses until the next month, until the 7th of next month. That is, if you are able to do that, then you are able to make both ends meet. It literally means to earn enough money to manage or bear your expenses. So what is Gopi saying here? The lifestyle in Delhi is quite expensive. He has 4 children and his income is not enough for his expenses. And one has to keep up one's status. And also, 2,500 is not a great amount to earn monthly. It's a matter of status too. I have to have a status in the society. It will be a great help if I can raise some money by selling my share of the family property. I came to talk it over with you. So what did Gopi say? It will be a great help if I'll be able to share some, to sell my share of property and make money. So why did he come there? Why did he go to Thiruvananthapuram? Because he has his share in the property. He wants to sell and get money out of that property so that he can spend a lavish life in Delhi. That is the motive behind his visit. He did not pay a visit to see his mother, but his intention was something else. What was it? To sell the property and get some more money. So he says, that's the reason why I came here. That's what I wanted to talk to you. You'll sell your land and go away with the money. I know you won't come here anymore after that. So what did Kamala say? She was irritated. She said, yeah, I knew this. I had an idea about your visit, but I didn't want it to be obvious. I knew you are very selfish. I know you'll take the money. You'll sell the land. You'll take the money and go back. I know you won't show your face again. Don't say that, I'll come when I get time. So what did Gopi say? Please don't say that, I'll come whenever I have some leisure time or free time. Your time? Kamala got even more irritated and she says, your time? It's a very careless statement to make. He said he will visit them whenever he has a leisure time, which is very selfish of him. That's the reason why your time means you have no, you're not bothered about our feelings. You don't want to think about. He saw the irritation on his sister's face. It took you more than 5 years to find time to come here. Amma is 83 now. I don't think she will pull on much longer. It took you so long to visit her after the last time. So what did Kamala say? Your time? Are you going to come according to your free time? It took you more than 5 years to find time to come back to visit us. Amma is already 83. By the time you visit next, she may not be alive. She may not, I don't think she will pull on much longer. This is a phrase. Pull on much longer. I don't think she will pull on much longer means she may not be alive for a longer period of time because she's already 83. And it took 5 years for Gopi to find time to visit his mother and sister. But Amma can't remember who I am, he said, smiling feebly. So he smiled, Gopi smiled, and in a weak voice, feebly means in a weak or lacking energy. So he said in a weak tone, he smiled and he told in a weak tone that Amma doesn't remember me. He told in a very weak voice. But do you remember your Amma? Kamala asked Gopi back. What did she ask? Okay, Amma doesn't remember you, but do you remember your mother? I don't think you do because it took you more than 5 years to come back here. She does not recognize your face. It's because of her old age, and it is understandable. People understand that this old lady has begun to forget things because of her age, but you are young, but still, you didn't feel the need of visiting your mother. That's how concerned you are about your family. On that note, Gopi feels really embarrassed and in a way he shuts his mouth, or he had no answer, so he remains silent, and that's how the story ends. So this was an emotional story about a mother who has been suffering throughout her life to have a glimpse of her son. The son is selfish. He visits after 5 years, and that too, the purpose of the visit is not his mother, it is the property. So like I told you in the beginning, it was written by Kamala Das, and as it was written in Malayalam, she uses a pen name Madhavi Kutti. She used a pen name here. See, written by Kamala Das, Madhavi Kutti, and it was translated in English by K.M. Sharif. Another thing I want to tell you is that the blanket. Why was Amma so particular about a blanket? Why was she talking about blanket often? Why do you think she was very desperate? She told Gopi repeatedly to inform her son about the blanket. The reason why she has repeated blanket here is because whenever she wraps the blanket around her, she feels that she is with her son, or she feels her son is with her. The warmth of the blanket symbolizes the son's love here. So that is the significance of blanket in this lesson. The blanket here symbolizes a son's love which a mother is craving. Alright, I hope you understood the story. This was a very emotional one, wasn't it? Now that we have finished a lesson, I want you to do some work. I want you to read the lesson. I'll send you a PDF. Ask me if in case I forget to send you. Message me through WhatsApp. Read the lesson, and there are question answers just below the back of your lesson. Take a rough book. If you have a classwork, it's better. If you don't, just take a rough book and write down the answers to the questions. Write down in your own words. Don't try to copy from material. Use your common sense and try to frame your own answers. Read the story and write the answers on your own. So that's the homework for you. That is one homework. And the other homework is that when I send you a PDF, in the beginning you will see a family, a nuclear family and the joint family pictures. So I want you to draw a flow chart of nuclear family and one flow chart containing of a nuclear family and joint family. You write down who are the members present in nuclear family and who are the members present in joint family. Draw a flow chart, and after that I want you to write down the advantages of nuclear family and the disadvantages. Similarly, write down the advantages and disadvantages of joint family and which family is better according to you and why. These are the two homeworks you are supposed to do. Let me repeat. The very first homework is that take the PDF, read the lesson and answer the questions, whatever questions are there back of your lesson. Copy down the question and write down the answers. After that, draw a flow chart of nuclear family and joint family and write down advantages and disadvantages of both the families and which family do you prefer, which family is better according to you and why. Write down the reasons. That's your homework. You can take 2 to 3 days as per your choice, but don't take too long. So yeah, in the next video we shall complete B reading and then C reading eventually. After that we shall do our textual grammar. We shall meet in our next lesson. Until then, goodbye and take care.